Joining us now is Hulk Hogan, wrestling legend in the WWE Hall of Fame and co-founder of Real American Beer. Great to have you on the show. Really appreciate it. We're going to talk about the beer in a moment, but you have hinted again recently at entering the political ring. You supported Obama in 2008, Romney in the next election. Who's your pick between Trump and Biden?
Brother, the crazier it sounds, the more it sounds logical. You know, at the end of the day, I'm just wanting somebody to straighten out the gas prices, the food prices, our nation's security. I want peace in the Middle East. I just want somebody with common sense that knows right from wrong, brother. That's who I want to be president.
Well, between those two?
Brother, I don't know. Probably have to put myself in there somewhere. I can't pick. I can't pick right now. The debate, that's going to be the tell-all.
The 2020 debates, as you mentioned, sometimes felt like WWE trash talking. Tomorrow night's debate includes rules like the candidates' mics being muted when the other's speaking. You think debates in politics are becoming more like pro wrestling?
Well, there's so many rules and restrictions. It's not like pro wrestling. Pro wrestling is pretty much wide open and organic. Anything goes. I mean, talking about the deck stacked against you, and you've got rules where you can't talk and comment and have an organic, rapport back and forth. I think it limits, their personalities and their thought process. So I just would like to see, more organic and more candor, and let these guys go at it a little bit.
You've had to field a lot of questions over the course of your career regarding juicing in pro wrestling, right? Yeah. Donald Trump has said that Joe Biden will be, quote, jacked up during the debate. He's demanding a drug test. What do you make of that?
Well, Joe's a little laid back. Sometimes he'll have the Joe moments where he'll space out and, you can basically describe America in one word, and then he won't really say the word. But I've seen him, when he was addressing Congress and stuff, the union address where he was on point. So it's going to be interesting. I know he's taken a whole week to get ready, and Donald Trump's running around hitting all the breakfast places and, tipping everybody. So I just don't know. I just really hope Joe's on his game. I hope he's leaning forward, not rocking back on his heels. I hope Trump's doing the same thing. I just want the best man to win.
Hulk, I'm reading between the lines, and it kind of sounds like you might be a Trump supporter.
Well, you know what? I'm for the guy that's going to straighten this country out, man. Whoever that person is. Right. I mean, it could be The Rock or Jesse Ventura, or it could be anybody at this point. But I'm looking for that truth teller to come in and straighten this country out.
Is that going to be you at some point?
Hey, you never know. Right now, I'd make a great vice president, brother, because I do have common sense. I do know right from wrong. I just think a flat tax would be a fair play for everybody here. And if I was the VP, and then all of a sudden I rolled right into that top spot 4 years later, you'd get you'd get 12 good years out of me. And then all of a sudden, we would really be on track.
Who doesn't want 12 good years of Hulk Hogan?
Man, I could think of a lot of people.
Now, speaking of age, you turned 70 last summer. You retired from... That is impressive right there. Come on, man. You're 70.
Come on, man.
That's good. Man. That's good. You got to
train every day, brother. When you train 2 hours every single day for the last 55 years, something's going to happen.
Well, Mike Tyson's turning 58 this week. He's scheduled to fight Jake Paul in November. What do you make of that decision?
Well, I've talked to both of them. Tyson, is tired of all the back talk, and he doesn't even want an exhibition. He wants to go full-blown killer. And when I was down at the Formula races in Miami, I talked to Paul, and at the end of the day, he said he's going out to knock Mike out. So it's going to be really crazy because they both have skills, and you just never know in there. One good shot can end the day.
You worried about Tyson because of his age?
I'm not really worried about him. He's mean as a junkyard dog. I'm not worried about him. He's got that killer instinct, that look in his eye. So if he gets there, it could be a tough night for Jake Paul.
All right, let's talk beer. You got a new venture called Real American Beer. Why did you start it? And I presume you will not be getting influencers to do a Bud Light promotional effort on TikTok?
Well, the funny thing is, brother, I was at a convention, and when I shake hands. I like to engage and look people in the eye and say, thanks for being a fan. How long have you been a fan? And where'd you grow up at? And spend some time with each wrestling fan. And also read the name tags. And this gentleman had Vice President of Pabst Blue Ribbon. First thing I said, man, my dad used to drink that beer. And the gentleman said, well, have you ever thought about endorsing an alcohol product? And I said, not until recently, because I saw the Bud Light campaign, their marketing plan that crashed and burned horribly. And I said, there's this open lane. It's Middle America, NASCAR, wrestling, country, Western, Mom, Apple Pie, Purple Mountain's Majesty. There's an open lane for the beer that America's been waiting for. And I said, I got this crazy idea that if we could just sit down and communicate, you know, we're more alike than we are different. We really are. And sometimes in the wrestling business, instead of fighting in the ring, it's nice to sit back and have a beer and talk things out. Much better than going in the ring and fighting. So I just figure this is bigger than politics, way bigger than politics, because the Democrats, Republicans, they don't even talk. They don't communicate. So it doesn't matter if you're a Republican or Democrat, what's your sexual preferences, doesn't matter race, color, or creed, where you're from. I have a beer, Hulk Hogan's Real American Beer, that's going to bring America back together one beer at a time. Because with that beer, we can have a conversation. And that's the idea.
And I assume it's good.
Oh, brother, it's awesome.
All right. Just got to make sure. I figured I got to ask that question. All right, final question for you. I want to play a piece of sound of you in Rocky III, and then I got a question.
Okay.
Listen, after the match, how about if we get a Polaroid together, okay?
You're in trouble, man. I'm going to break him in half like this. Blast off, meatball!
Great scene. I read somewhere that almost cost you your wrestling career. Is that true?
Well, I got fired for doing that movie. I was actually working for Vince McMahon Sr., and not too many people know Vince McMahon Sr., but I was working for him in 1977 and 78, and all of a sudden I got a call from Stallone. I'd seen Rocky I and Rocky II, and Stallone was like 700 feet tall in the American public's eyes. And I said, man, if I could just be a janitor in one of those movies. I told my girlfriend at the time, I'd love to be in a movie. Push comes to shove, I get this message from Stallone. I told Vince McMahon Sr., man, I'm going to be Thunderlips, the Ultimate Male in the Rocky III movie. And Vince McMahon Sr. said, if you go do that movie, you're fired and you'll never work here again. I went, what? They didn't want us, the mindset, the barbaric mindset in the 70s was no acting, no movies, no TV. They wanted you just to be a wrestler. So I went and did the movie and I got fired. And all of a sudden I spent like 3 years in Japan, 3 years in Minnesota. And then Vince McMahon Jr., his son, came to me with this idea. He goes, oh my gosh, Hulk Hogan, you're on fire. With you coming back to New York, we could take over the whole world. So that's what happened. I went back to work there and we changed the whole wrestling business.
Great story. Hulk Hogan, good luck with the beer. Let's see those pipes one more time as we we say goodbye.
Brother.
There we go.
Hulk Hogan and Dan Abrams. Team it up. Hulk Hogan and Dan Abrams and Real American Beer. What you gonna do when Hulk, Dan, and Real American Beer run wild on you?
Sir, good to see you.
Thank you, brother. Be cool.
Thanks for coming on.